Ooh, the darkness is fun today. As we can tell, I got a little dressed up today, and I figured, dress up, film video, good stuff. I got a lovely cup of coffee going here, so grab something delicious. And I figure I would just talk about how a lot of the media and things I'm consuming right now, in general, are very dark, creepy, weird orientated things. And I wonder if y'all were feeling the same. I normally during this time of the year don't necessarily lean that way. I definitely get a little more into, I guess, the traditional thing of it's springtime, spring is here. I think of changing aesthetically. The things around me, the things I want to wear are normally way more a balance. I always lean more towards darker things in general, but the pops of color come in more. If anything, I wear a lot more grays and whites. I normally feel the urge to put a white quilt on my bed, or I want to dress everything, dress my body in more white things. I want to dress my altar with a cream beigey cloth. I, crave the greens, the yellows, that type of thing. And very clearly, I'm not really leaning towards that at the moment. Same thing with my bedroom. There's a black quilt currently on my bed, which my white cat feels is totally fine to get herself all over. Don't you foof. Just very comfy over there. So it won't be totally black for very long, but I do enjoy that. And while, again, I have the things that I would normally switch out during this time, and I just don't feel the need to do that. I want to keep that darkness, the drearier, more depth, I guess, inducing colors around longer. And sometimes, you just go with the flow, less of, changing of the seasons type of thing. But I'm suddenly realizing that for my Beltane altar, I wanted to put some yellows and stuff in there and, add a lot of candles. Fire's a thing with Beltane. But also, I kind of just wanted to put more, I guess what I normally would consider more October, September, very, Samhain, more vibes going on. More wintry, what I would consider more wintry, darker vibes. I'm like holding on to it. I'm almost like grasping it very firmly, like, please let me have the darkness for longer for some reason. Which is how I'm decorating and leaning towards things energetically, I guess. And I've also noticed that when it comes to the music and the stuff I'm listening to, the media I'm consuming, talking to different friends and family members during this time when I can, we've all talked about, what shows are we binge watching, what albums are we listening to on nonstop repeat. And I've noticed that while some people seem aligned with me in the idea of not necessarily wanting to indulge in, I guess, a cheer up concept, a lot of my friends and family are much more of the, no, we want to watch the cheery happy movie, we want to watch things like Disney films and just, that very peppy, upbeat, almost pure distraction, I guess, from the weird energies at large that are happening that might induce some darker thoughts. And I am so much the opposite of that the longer this has gone on. In the beginning, I was like that a bit, but I've suddenly now gotten to the point where during my meditations, I want dark, trance-like music going on in the background. I don't want anything peppy. I want the deeper tones, nothing too high-pitched or anything. Very mellow, like a slowing down of things. But definitely it seems a darker, deeper tone of things in general. I also don't want to watch too cheery or peppy of things. It's weird to me sometime right now to watch shows that are too perky, I guess is the word. Like, I want shows that aesthetically, like the look of the show has kind of like a deeper color palette, more subdued in a sense. And also I'm very much of almost going to really dystopian level of storylines. I want to watch things about apocalypses and horrible alternate timelines. I'm rewatching a lot of that stuff right now too. Like, I've watched all of The Handmaid's Tale and I am very much rewatching that right now. Same with like Man in the High Castle. I'm craving this like dark alternative reality concept of things. And it's very interesting as to why it's like, why is it that I can indulge in, pursue, and I've noticed it's just this constant, like I'm looking for a certain type of feeling, a certain type of just overall just acceptance of we're in a dark place. There was a big force, I think, at the beginning where I was like, I want to be productive and I want to be, you know, put on this sense of, okay, well, this is what we're being provided with, do something with it, you know. Sometimes you just gotta do with what you got with the hand you're dealt, and well, I still agree with that in certain circumstances. You know, we can't entirely like go into the pit of doom. You do with what you can. But a lot of my meditations and things are much more focused on the fact of just kind of accepting, yeah, this is the weird vibe we're dealing with right now. It's not peppy, it's not perky. I'm not in the normal springtime, you get out and all the possibilities type of mood. I'm much more of subdued, slower, hesitant. I am very much in a way, in a weird concept, like clinging on to those feelings of depth and winter and, you know, reclusing in. And maybe part of that is just because, well, when I was being more of a recluse and coming in during the winter, even though I was kind of like up and down emotionally, but there was still this feeling of, well, when spring comes around, I'll get outside. And that didn't turn out how I was hoping at all. And even the spices and things that I'm using. I pulled out my cinnamon and clove and nutmeg and I put it near my coffee because that's what I've been putting in my coffee every morning, a little dash of the spices on top. And I want to burn the scented candles of more deeper scents. Like, I want to be reminded of the times when I naturally become more indoorsy, of the times when I want to kind of seclude a little bit more. It's almost like I'm trying to trigger my brain in a way that this is the new natural progression of things. And of course we should be inside. Of course this is the natural time to slow down, when normally it'd be the time when I would be ramping up a bit more, especially as Taurus season comes in. I've always noticed the Taurus season, it's almost like if we take the representation of the bull, I am the bull, like digging its hoof in, just like raring to go for that Gemini stuff that's just around the corner to feed into my own Gemini sun. That's always what I feel like. I'm rearing up, and then normally it all gets moving and going, and then by July, tail end July, August is when I have this hit of like, ooh, okay, reevaluate. You know, all this energy gets spent, and then it is another pullback to reevaluate what was done, where else to go forward. And it is very weird that I'm not even feeling an itch to do that. Like, maybe it's just an adaptability thing. You know, the concept of, well, can't go outside, can't do the things, can't do much of anything. So we know what to do to trigger my brain, to feel comforted, to go into the depths. And in my meditations as well, one thing that keeps flickering, I mentioned it before in a video previously, the idea of going down into the dark and there just being this swinging lantern that's lit. That's just kind of like swinging in place. Like, I can't even see what the lantern almost is attached to. It's just there. There's like a single, sometimes it's like a gas lit lantern. Other times it's like just a single candle in it and just like swinging in the wind. But it's more extreme than swinging in the wind. It's almost like there's something way above me in the dark that I can't see that's like, you know what I mean? And every time I meditate, even if I kind of go into it with a different option, it seems to start or conclude with that image of me looking up and seeing this lantern being swung around in the darkness, like a single light that's there. And at first it was very ominous. It was a sense of, what's swinging it? What does that mean? Am I supposed to follow the lantern? Like, what purpose? And now instead it just seems like a very comforting thing, like this one gleaming light spinning around in the darkness. This acceptance of just watching it is a sort of meditative thing. A meditation within a meditation. Like, going deeper and further in and accepting the darkness all around it, and that this one light is the only thing bringing any sort of illumination within it. Especially when it comes to consuming darker, more intense, dystopian-like media. I find it intriguing the overall mood of the characters. This concept, yes, boo-boo. Come here. You meow, you have to be on camera. This, I don't know, overall mood of eat a baby. Squish it. This overall mood of it just being a thing of, I don't know, there's this constant idea of a bit of an acceptance. You know, always within, I think, dystopian films that I at least have, or media that I've consumed recently, there is this idea of like, okay, yeah, like this is the way the world is, but we're gonna fight against it. We're going to, you know, seek to improve what is there. But there's also this this depth of understanding of the world in its current place. A acceptance that, yeah, it's kind of shitty, and that's just how the world is right now. We have to work within the current restraints we are in. The full acceptance of the tone of everything, and then working within that, is something I think I desperately crave, because I do this up and down constantly of accepting it and then fighting it and going back to how things were before, or hoping how things will be better in the future without really accepting the current state of things. And I wonder if that, trying to invoke more of that within the media, you know, just like going back to the idea of just accepting and then doing what you can with what is at here. Like, what do we do with this? Is very appealing to me, and I wonder if any of you have experienced that the same way. Are you trying to cultivate a certain type of energy that allows you to deal better with this time? As always, this is just my own personal experience. If you're a person who's like, no, I'm holding on to that positivity with like iron grip, I'm not letting it go, because it's the only thing that's kind of keeping you going, let me know about that. Or are you a person a little more like me where, yeah, that darkness is getting more and more appealing, but even as the seasons may be changing, at least in the northern hemisphere, towards the more ramping up level, are you wanting to almost retreat back into winter in a way, retreat back to the time of the dark in the more lulled sense of things? But I shall hopefully have a couple more videos for you guys coming out soon. The creation in me, I think this acceptance has helped me to be okay to film again and to edit. Like it just makes it more of like, okay, yeah, things are just how they're gonna be. So I will see you guys all next time. Bye bye.